So much for what a psychologist would say about motivation and the economist's rather shriveled account of motivation. It's not just more stuff. What would a psychologist make of our account of how we understand the world, the direct observation of experience? Well, it's clearly right to an extent. It's a question of whether it's the only way that you learn. I hope it isn't for you, because we're in a class, and a class is a very formalized relationship by which you are supposed to learn, not by direct observation of the world, but by listening to me, tuition. Tuition is a very stylized, structured relationship in which people are supposed to learn about the world through a process of instruction. Obviously, that's pretty important in the world. Our whole education system is based on that. But what psychologists will say about that is that, never mind direct experience observation, even tuition doesn't seem that powerful a way of getting people to understand the world. People are actually rather resistant to being instructed. Many people are rather resistant to analytic, scientific style knowledge, presentation of theory, evidence. What we pick up most easily is neither direct observation nor the formalized structure of tuition. It's listening to people telling us stories, or telling them themselves, joining in. The fancy word for stories is narratives. Psychologists have explored this. And there's a very good reason why most people learn a lot of stuff from stories, and it's because stories are very easy to remember. And so the amount of effort we need to put into remembering things is much less if whatever we've got to learn is couched in a good story than if it's packaged in a block of formalized tuition, or even if it's something you've seen in the world. Psychologists have even explored what structure of a story gives you the highest impact, is most memorable. And it's where there is a person, somebody you can identify with, who's engaged in a struggle. And maybe that struggle is successful or it's not, but there's an outcome. And what that teaches you in the process of engaging personally with that struggle is, if I do this, then that happens. And so that encapsulates a theory of a causal process, if this, then that. But it's a theory of a causal process that is not acquired through instruction in an academy. It's not acquired through direct observation of the world. There's even some evidence that people will privilege the stories that they're told over things that they've directly observed. They'll think that what they've directly observed is either very exceptional or that they didn't see it right. They'll prefer to believe stories. Where do we get stories? Where do we hear them? We hear them through social networks. The same, where do we get peer esteem? Peer esteem is just the esteem of our peers, and our peers are people in the social network with whom we're interacting. And so right at the foundation of social behavior is the networks that we're in. Now, we're not all in the same networks. there's a famous constant in sociology called the Dunbar constant, which says that no matter where you are in the world, basically you can only get to know about 150 people properly. And that bounds how many social networks we can be in. Right? You're probably all on Facebook and have 2,000 likes or something. But these are very superficial interactions. What actually seems to matter is the real physical human interactions you have day by day in real social networks, not the virtual ones.